What is up, Buckeye Nation? This is Cory. You've known me as Floco throughout the years, maybe White Buffalo. There's some other Johnny nicknames I'm not sure about. I'm not here with Johnny, obviously. The company is improved dramatically. You know her as Buckeye Football Fangirl, but also I know her as Lisa, my girlfriend. So I'm very proud to have her on this show. I just wanted to talk about a few things regarding the game, and I wanted a partner in crime, and I can't think of anybody better than obviously Lisa for me anyway. So anyway, guys, we're gonna talk about this Oregon game a little bit. And I used to know why we rehashing that. We're moving on. It's a bye week. We need to talk about something. Ordinarily, be looking on to Nebraska, but they got another week for that. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about this Oregon game.
That'll be next week. Next week we can talk about Nebraska and get all worried about that game.
Exactly, that's next week. There's some issues going around Twitter I want to talk about. I'm just like several issues within this game I want to address, namely around the coaching with Dan Lanning and Ryan Day. People seem to have this, or Buckeye fans, probably Oregon fans too, let's be real, have this, and Oregon fans are going to think what they want to think. I don't really care. I do not care about their opinion.
Yeah.
Sincerely, Oregon fans, if you're watching this, thank you for watching. I don't care about your opinion, but just being completely real with you. Because it's, while I have a biased opinion, we're here to talk shop about Ohio State. I am not here to, talk about the inner workings of Oregon football. Because I don't know them like you guys do, and I'll admit that. But that being said, I want to talk about some instances within the game, because people seem to have this narrative that Ryan Day got completely put in a blender, as Tom would put it. Tom, if you're watching, how you doing, buddy? And Tom does yoga. I just want to put that there. And he's a vegan for what
He does. He does yoga with Adrian. It's awesome. I do that too. I love it.
It's okay if you do it. Him. I don't want to think about doing it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, yeah, that's smart.
There's a lot, but maybe not. But there's a lot wrong with Tom. So, that being said, I'm just kidding. I love Tom. He knows that. But anyway, that being said, Tom would put it as, he got put in a blender, but it's not just Tom. It's tweets all over the X posts, whatever the heck they are these days, are all over everywhere, just saying that Ryan Day got outcoached. Even by our own fan base, they say that he got outcoached. I think there's one instance where Lanning made a really good call, taking advantage of a loophole that put Ryan Day in a position where he couldn't do anything about it. But I'm gonna talk about that too. But there's several instances where Dan actually either screwed up or he got lucky, just plain freaking lucky. Yeah. I'm not against. I want to preface this though. I'm not against Dan Lanning. I think he's a very good coach, a very good upcoming young coach.
I agree. He's got a very promising future ahead of himself too.
Exactly. I could definitely see him winning a natty, 100%. I'm not knocking Dan Lanning. I'm not knocking the Oregon football program, which, by the way, you know what? Everybody, including myself at times, have made fun of you guys for all the Phil Knight money you shell out to get recruits. You're trying to win. I respect it. I respect that.
Same.
So I have nothing against Oregon. I really don't. They beat us fair and square. Let's preface that as well. I'm not claiming rigged or any kind of crap like that. You beat us. Kudos to you. You won the game. I give my hats off to you. You guys won the game.
100%.
Yeah. Let's get that all out front so there's no people in the comments. Whining.
No. Oregon beat us. We can admit that. It was a very close game, but they beat us in the end.
Yeah, and it's okay to admit that. I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with it, But we talk about some instances where I want to talk about our fan base. So I think this is really, I'm not saying Ryan Day doesn't deserve criticism. I'm saying we nitpick him to death to the point where it gets ridiculous, in my opinion. And we're going to talk about Ryan Day's possible future going forward, after, along this show as well. But I want to talk a little bit about a couple instances. First, let's talk about the first drive where Ohio State scored a touchdown to go up 7-0. There was very clearly a missed call by Will Kazimir, or, he did not catch the ball. Well, is it Kazimir? How do you say his last name?
You got me. That sounds good to me.
Who cares? Willie K. I don't care. He dropped the ball. That pissed me off. I'm going to be honest with you. I was pissed. Lisa and I are on the phone during these games. I can tell you right now, she knows, she can vouch for me. I was pretty upset he dropped it. I was like, there's no reason to drop that.
Very. Maybe more than a little, but yeah.
A little bit, yeah. It may have said some things that were not church appropriate, but that being said, and I don't dislike Will. I was glad he transferred here. I think he adds value to the team, but catch the freaking ball.
Mm.
So I don't remember for sure if it ended up a pick or not. It probably did. I think at the time I said it did. But why does Ryan Day, Lisa, not get credit for having the situational awareness to help push his team to go get a quick snap off? I mean, don't get me wrong. Chip Kelly's involved with that. Ryan Day's involved with that. Will Howard's involved with that. The leadership of Will Howard on the field, and but knowing that the play is in question,
yes,
they got up to the line and snapped the ball quick. Why does he not get credit for that situational awareness?
So quick. I have no idea. Seriously, no idea why people don't give him more credit for that. Because I was surprised at how quick it was. I could not believe they just got up there, they snapped it. There was no chance to review it, no chance to stop the game. They just kept things rolling on down the field.
Yeah, exactly. And Dan Lanning, I mean, look, I've told you what I think of him as a coach. He's a great young coach. I don't have anything against him at all. There's times that I think, man, would he be better at Ohio State than with what we have? I don't know. But I'm not dissing Ryan Day with that. I mean, some people would probably like me to, but that I just say that why did he call timeout to get it reviewed? That's a huge play. That's huge play.
Yes.
Especially since we look in hindsight at things now. He didn't know we were going to score a touchdown at that point, but we did. And we scored a touchdown off of that. It was gifted by the referee, so I think did a piss poor job the whole night. They were terrible the whole night. There's even a couple false starts they called on Ohio State. I was like, who the heck false started on that? I think they called one on Zen. I didn't even know if he did it or not. I was like, I'm looking. I'm not seeing him move. But that being said, that refs were just terrible. But for both sides, this wasn't a rigged game. It was just they just weren't up to their job. They missed that play badly. They should have reviewed it. In all honesty, if I'm being an honest Buckeye fan, they should have reviewed it. It should have probably been Oregon ball.
I agree. I can admit that too.
And we can admit that, and we can also say, but you know what? Good awareness by the Ryan Day and the staff to say, get a play. I don't care what it is, just get a play. Probably even let Howard call the play. I don't care what it is, Howard. You got what the personnel is. We're not subbing. Get the play off. Because they do have they could talk, and they have the mics going in the headset now, and he's just get up, snap the ball. That probably helps a lot. So my point with that is Dan Lanning missed an opportunity to call timeout. Now maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the refs explained it to him real quick. Hey, look, we ain't gonna review it. But Ryan Day must not have known that because he told his team to hurry it up. So does Ryan Day not win that situation? Does he not win it in management there?
I mean, I would say that he did. That was a fantastic job getting the team up and ready to play. And I think it really plays into to your point.
Yeah, it's just like, why don't he doesn't? I don't see any Buckeye fans saying, "Oh man, that was actually pretty cool." I mean, during the game, I didn't really see it. Wow, good job by the offense to get it up. I mean, maybe there was, but I didn't see it.
Just a little bit of that on Twitter, just a little bit.
Well, credit to those people who actually could give Ryan Day a smidgen of credit for something. I mean, I do believe in constructive criticism, but I don't believe it has any merit without listing the positives as well.
Yes, I agree.
And I think that goes for anything in life. It's like, I mean, think about if you're married to somebody and all you do is list their negatives. That marriage isn't going to last very long.
E for disaster. Seriously.
Exactly. In fact, I would maintain the more you are positive and list their positive, the more they will genuinely listen when you do have something kind of like, hey, that's kind of bothering me. So I try to live my life by that motto. I'm not perfect, but I try. And anyway, so we're going to the next situation here. And this is where people are saying, I can't, but Dan Lanning, man, he just he coached heck of a game, is the onside kick. Let's talk about that on the second point. You want to know the truth? It's an aggressive, bold move. You can say kudos to you for being bold, but it's dumb luck. It's dumb luck. It never works. Risky onside kicks hardly ever work. If Caleb Downs just catches it or falls on it, we have the ball in great field position. We probably score a touchdown. I know it's a hypothetical, but we were moving the ball pretty well. It could be a 14-point swing, and all of a sudden Ohio State's looking like they're starting to move away in this game. So it's like, or not necessarily move away, but we got the momentum back. And And I would say then you're looking at possibly a double-digit win by Ohio State. Possibly. I'm not guaranteeing that. But neither here nor there. We probably score
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with great field position and the momentum. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a matter of inches. And one player made a play when the other player didn't. Okay, Caleb, I love you, but you didn't make the play. And that's fine. It doesn't mean define you or anything, but you didn't make
No,
the play.
absolutely not. And it doesn't negate the other plays that he made during that game.
No,
But I
no. And he's
you're stating the hypothetical too. I mean, these are all the what ifs, right? What if this would have swung the other way? Ryan would not look like he does now, right?
I mean, you'd be actually praising Ryan Day for
playing.
having Caleb Downs on the hands team, or
Exactly. Like, oh my gosh, Ryan Day was brilliant to have those people out there. They sniffed it out. They had the people in place. They had it ready. They knew Oregon was going to try something here. Like, isn't he a brilliant coach? Like that narrative shifts so much just with like a tiny little adjustment of a ball bouncing differently.
yeah. And Danny Lanning looks like a moron. Not all of a sudden. I'm not saying he's a moron. I hate when people get in the comments because they have comprehension issues and they take the last thing I say. I will say it in preface again.
It's gonna go viral.
Well, I don't care. They go. I mean, they can clip. Johnny and I've been on shows where they've edited it to make it look bad. I don't care anymore. But Dan Lanning, one of the best young coaches in college football. I'm not taking that away from him. But still, he looks like a moron if it goes the opposite way and we get a touchdown on it. And then you can't tell me, Oregon fans, if you're watching, you cannot tell me with a straight face. You don't sit there and get angry at that move if it doesn't go your way.
I mean, if Ohio State was in that position and it didn't, we were trying to do something like that and it didn't go our way, we would be livid, like never let that. Like, how could you possibly do that? But I mean, with Oregon, it went exactly like they wanted it to go, and they got the ball back, awesome scoring position, and drove it down the field.
Exactly. They had the momentum. They took advantage of it. They scored a touchdown. And again, kudos to them for that. They made the plays that we didn't, but that's not a Ryan Day, Dan Lanning chess match. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it just happens. And, okay, so we move on from that, right? Let's go to the final drive. The big criticism, this is a Tom criticism that I've seen, but I've seen other people say he mismanaged the clock because he didn't call a timeout before the 2-minute warning. And it would have saved time. Okay, you know what? I haven't gone back to rehash the down and distance and all that, and what the situation was and things like that, because I think that has a lot more to do with it than get it in before the 2-minute warning. Although that is a strategy from anybody from NFL to college down, especially when you get on time stop the clock to stop on first downs on the next series, but. Say he made a mistake on that. Okay, I'll even, for the sake of argument, I'll say, yeah, he made a mistake on it. Fine. That's not what cost them the game. We had 1:47 left to go down the field. We're down by 1. All we need is a field goal. Okay. Actually, as much as the defense was maligned and terrible for a lot of that game, credit to them for giving a goal line stand to kick them to make them kick a field goal. Even though it ended up, but here's
that.
Yeah, but I'll even go a little step further on this and say that Dan Lanning got lucky again. He played it conservative on that. I actually thought he was going to go for it because he could have pinned us back, right? Even if he goes for it and doesn't get it, we're still on the 1-yard line, whatever. Pins us back. Do they stop us? Do they not stop us? I don't know. I think he had a lot of respect for our offense, so you take the points and the lead. But again, even then, you're like, well, you still. Here's my point with this: if you pin us back, yeah, we may go down the score, whatever. Okay, fine. Or just run out clock or whatever. Okay, fine. But if you pin us back and then you make us a 3-and-out and we punt, you can still get the ball in great field position. You still have time to get a field goal, which leaves less time for us to get the ball back and go down the field. In this case, we had 1:47. That is more than enough time for this offense with a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Dan Lanning kind of lucked out on that decision. That could have been seen as a terrible, stupid decision to go for the field goal instead of be aggressive like he normally is and go for the touchdown. Or if he
Yeah.
does go for the touchdown, all of a sudden the field goal doesn't mean anything to us, And so we have to go down
Yeah.
and actually score a touchdown. So it becomes wildly different situation. I thought he played it way too conservative, and quite frankly, it almost burned him. You want to know how it almost burned him? Because we drive right down the freaking field. We
Right
get down to the
down.
20. We get down to the 28. We could complete I think a 9-yard pass for a first down to Jeremiah Smith. It's down to the 19-yard line. We have a timeout and there's some time on the clock. We have plenty of time to position ourselves for an easier field goal. Everything Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, and Will Howard did on that drive worked. It got us in position to win the game. If there's not an offensive pass interference call, which is out of Ryan Day's jurisdiction,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of a sudden we're probably kicking a field goal, winning that game, and people are looking at that fourth down and saying, why did you go for the touchdown?
Oh,
Knowing
yeah.
a field goal wouldn't be enough. You weren't stopping them.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah. All
this
the
is
analysis, it would have been shifted in the other direction.
this is why nitpicking is stupid. Absolutely stupid.
You're not wrong. And
So,
overanalyzing a game in a 1-point loss where, those seconds happened so fast in the
yep.
in-game situation. And hindsight's 2020. We have had almost a week to look back and critique every single second, every single decision, every single play that happened during that last drive. And it's just, yeah. if tiny things shift, there's a completely different narrative that comes out of that game.
I mean, we really do analyze these games by the butterfly effect, and it's crazy. And then whatever scenario we have in our own head, it would have gone perfectly, of course.
Of course.
That's see, this is so we get the offensive pass interference, which I'm gonna say right now, Oregon fans, you disagree with me all you want. That was a BS call. I don't care. They were aggressive the whole game. The defender engaged with Jeremiah Smith first and was grabbing him, and he got off of him. It was the Shaq and LeBron rule. He's bigger than him, so it's called a foul. That's what it was. So anyway, I think that it was BS. It's a 24-yard swing. We go from the 19 all the way back to the 43-yard line. And then instead of like first and 10, we're what, first and 25, things something like that. So we have 25 yards to go to get a first down, and we still have to get at least, I don't know, 10 yards to get in any kind of field goal range. 10 yards puts us at a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah, which
we
is
were way out of field goal range.
Long kick, so long.
And because of that freaking bad call, in my opinion, again, I'm not saying it was rigged. I'm not saying it was cheating. According to Joel Klatt, Smith got mugged the play before, and I don't have any reason not to believe it since they were playing physical the whole game.
Yeah, that's how it went the whole game. That's the thing. It was the whole game.
Exactly. So I look at it and say, that's out of Ryan Day's control. And you basically reset the drive at the 43 with one timeout in 10 seconds or so. I mean, I don't know what you guys are expecting Ryan Day to pull miracles out of his butt for this, we did everything right. We were down by one. We were
a worker, right?
It's frustrating listening to the narratives on this. So what happens then is, okay, so when the 12-man rule then comes in to play, we get the 5 yards, but they run the clock. See, the rule on this, and Kyle Lamb, I'm going to credit him on this, posted it on Twitter, X, whatever. You know the platform. Yeah, she's going to die on that hill.
I
will. But anyway, okay, Twitter. Let's just call it Twitter. Sorry, Elon, I appreciate what you're doing, but Twitter. Anyway, that being said, Carly posted the rule. Well, basically what happens is if the ref catches the 12th man on the field, they call it dead ball foul. We get 5 yards, no time off the clock. But if they don't catch it, they let the play run. They call 5 yards, and the time runs off the clock. So Dan Lanning, again, I will credit him for using the loophole to his advantage completely.
Yep. Same.
That's smart. That's smart coaching. That's the one play you can point to and go, "Oh, geez, that was just good coaching. That was smart."
Yes. He knew his rule book. He knew that it would hurt us, and that's what they needed.
That was a chess play. I'm not gonna take him down for that. And Ryan Day was seen arguing with the ref. My guess, I don't know what Ryan Day was saying. I'm not a lip reader. My guess is he was saying that should be a dead ball foul because he was on the field, and you should have caught that. And refs weren't doing their job. They were sleeping at the wheel and they didn't catch it. Okay, fine. And then Dan Lanning got kind of lucky that they didn't see it. Or maybe not lucky. Well, maybe not lucky because refs are just that bad. But maybe he just like, oh, these refs are idiots. They won't ever see it. But
he knew he'd
in which case, good on you, Dan, because you weren't wrong. But either way, he's got lucky. They didn't see it, call a dead ball foul. All of a sudden, we're at the 38, and with 10 seconds and a timeout, makes it a lot different ball game. Instead of the 43 with 6 seconds, or no, I'm sorry, we are at the 38 with 6 seconds and a timeout. So then, of course, here's where I think Chip Kelly screwed up. I don't understand why they're going to lay off your receivers because they're looking for an end zone shot with 6 seconds. Why aren't you running a quick slant to the middle? Something like that. Quick hitter, right? Even RPO it if you want. I don't care. It's something quick. Could take 4 or 5 seconds, and then boom, timeout. And then all of a sudden, you at least give them. We're in the middle of the field. You at least give the kicker a shot at it. But you look at from the backwards point of view of Will Howard, nobody's in the end zone. So what are we actually doing there? We're taking like a mid-range shot that's too far down the field for us, or we're not chucking it to the end zone. And I know people talk about Will Howard's arm, but I think he can chuck it 38 yards, even 40, 45 yards into the end zone. And you have. I mean, to me, if you're not going to throw a quick slant, then get Jeremiah Smith down in the field and say, here, make a one-handed catch, buddy, and save us.
Oof,
that's my opinion on that piece of highlight reels. And then what are you saying then? Oh, Ryan Day got bailed out, So
but then he'd be a genius.
No, he wouldn't be a genius to our fan base. But they just say Jeremiah Smith bailed him out. So, in my opinion, I think now, granted, they time these things in practice. Maybe they felt like there wasn't enough time for that, but I'm sure there's more time for that than Will Howard running the ball. My opinion is go a quick slant with, even on the comeback pattern of the play before, I believe, that got us to 6 seconds, I think it was. The pass that floated too much and was hit the ground. Or no, it got knocked down. It floated too much, it got knocked down by the corner. I mean, they were laying off. I mean, if C.J. Stroud completes that pass, but I still maintain a quick slant or something along those lines to get in the middle of the field, get down, get a timeout, try the field goal. You're probably looking at a 45-yarder, but that's the best we're going to hope to do at that point. But I get these scenarios from fans. I get these scenarios talking to them on Twitter. Well, we got greedy, should have run the ball. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're saying that when we were at the 28 before the OPI, right?
Yep. I've heard that a lot.
There's a problem with that. It could go one or two ways. One, maybe Trey breaks it. Maybe he gets 15 yards, we get a timeout, we're ready to go. I don't know, maybe. Maybe, like, for whatever reason, Seth McLaughlin gets to the second level, that hole gets sealed, and he got. I don't know, maybe. But I do know the defensive tackles of Oregon were eating. They were feasting that night. They were doing really well. So maybe he gets a 3-yard loss. Then all of a sudden we're kicking a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah. There's that possibility. And then we'd be like, why did they do that? That was dumb.
Yeah, then you'd be screaming bloody murder. Why didn't you pass the ball? We were passing the ball so well. Why didn't you try to get him further down the field? So
yeah.
The play worked.
Lose all the way around.
Exactly. At least then we would have got a shot at the field goal is what I hear. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he fumbles. How about that? Let's do all of the scenarios because we can.
All the what ifs.
So when we go, because in our heads, whatever scenario we think was better, it definitely went perfectly according to
Mm-hmm.
plan.
Mm-hmm. But there's
He
so
gained
many.
5 yards. We got a timeout, and we got a field goal off.
Yeah, there's so many like of those woulda, coulda, shoulda scenarios that we can just play out in our heads. What if we had done this? What if they had done that instead? Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
in our heads, we have the Buckeyes winning the game because duh. Like in our heads, they should have won the game. But there's so many other things that could happen. Could have missed the field goal. Could have been blocked. Could have like there could have been so many other things that happened, and we don't know because we didn't get that chance.
That's why you look at all this stuff. I don't know that there's too much better Ryan Day could have done in that scenario. You could say, well, the clock management before 2 minute warning, fine. If you want to have that one, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, but again, how does it change the game plan going forward on the next drive? I mean, again, one little thing disrupts everything. Who knows? You're basing it like if we had done that, then the lineal history would have been the same, or linear, or whatever you want to call it. It would have been the future would have been the same. We would have called the same plays, had the same game plan, been on the same situation. You don't know that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so my point with that is, for the position we were in at the time, I don't know if Dan Lanning just completely outclassed Ryan Day. That is bull crap, in my opinion. Dan Lanning he posted a great game. His team
Yeah.
played physical and tough. He took shots. He was aggressive. I have nothing against Dan Lanning's his game at all. They made enough mistakes themselves as a team for people to say, "Oh, we're gonna have to play their perfect game." They played far from a perfect game. They didn't. So I still maintain we could beat them in Indy if we get there. But
We will
talking
find
about
out. Find out.
and it's going to be fun to find out for sure.
Mm.
But going forward, we got to talk about Ryan Day's future on this. See, I'm going to throw the fans a bone here. I'm not saying he's above criticism. He doesn't win enough of these dog fights. He just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Losing to Michigan 3 times in a row. There's an asterisk with who knows how much Connor Stallions had to do with it.
Yeah.
I will say there 2 out of those 3 years, I think the losses are almost predictable. Because 2021, they had a million 6-year seniors. They like their average age on that team was like 42 years old or something like that. And we had a young team. Defense wasn't very good. I actually went in that game thinking, I think this is the year they get us. And CJ played his butt off, did his best. It is what it is. The next year in 22, I thought this is revenge year. We got the team to do it, and then we get crushed even worse. And that's the year I'm thinking, what happened there? And I was more mad at Ryan Day for that one than I ever was for 21. And 23, we had the guy y'all hate, Honda McCord, as y'all call him. We were still within a play of winning that game, but
Yep.
and that was their natty. That's their natty team. We went on the road and lost by 6. We had the ball. We were driving. So
Yep. We had a chance to win it.
exactly. And Harrison was open, and then Jackson got dog walked, and Mason Graham said, "Nope, I'm going to be a first round draft pick. You're probably going to be in a practice squad someday, and that's why I'm going to beat you down." So and then the rest is, and of course, everybody blamed Kyle for that. I'm like, Kyle's getting crushed as he threw the ball. I don't know what y'all want,
Mm-hmm.
but he had the right read. Harrison was open.
Mm-hmm.
If Jackson holds onto his block for a second longer, we probably complete that. I don't know if it's a touchdown. Some people say he could have shook that safety, but maybe not. Maybe they were still just first down at the 20-yard line or whatever. No, we're rolling, but we're rolling at that point. So
yeah. Again, another one of those coulda,
what
shoulda,
ifs.
woulda, coulda, shoulda.
So, but anyway, going back to Ryan Day, he loses to Georgia in the last second. Defense completely collapsed in the fourth quarter. This is also Jim Knowles, too, by the way. When I say Ryan Day, I say Jim Knowles is on notice as well, because his defenses do not play well in these games. But then, of course, the games that Ryan Day wins are the games like Penn State, Notre Dame, which are solid wins, but they're a tier below us. I'm sorry, Penn State, Notre Dame fans. It's the truth, whether you like it or not. They're a tier below us. But the teams that are on the level, the last 3 years Michigan, this year's Michigan isn't, but the last 3 years Michigan, yeah, I know you don't want to admit that, but anyway,
Nope.
I know. She's gonna yell at me later, folks.
Never.
But okay, Georgia, obviously, the Bamas of the world.
Yep.
Somehow Missouri, but
forget that game. Nah.
that game was kind of an anomaly. I still think if Kyle plays, we win that game. But anyway,
and now Oregon.
Oregon
is playing at
and now twice to Oregon. I mean, Day's not winning these dogfights. That's a fact. I will say this: he has this year. He's on notice right now. He has this year to change the narrative. Still, you say we just lost to Oregon. You can say to me right now, "Well, I don't trust him to do it." Fine, you don't trust him to do it. But if he goes and beats Penn State, beats the team up north, rematch with Oregon in the Big Ten title, beats Oregon, has a good showing in the college football playoff. See, for me, he doesn't have to win the Natty. I'd like him to, of course. But semifinal, Natty, or even wins it.
A good showing, too. Like going in a competitive game.
Yeah, just not one and done. You need crap out. But he wins the Big Ten, gets the revenge game on Oregon, gets his revenge on the team up north, goes a good showing in the playoff. He's not going anywhere. Quite frankly, he shouldn't go anywhere at that point.
I agree. I wouldn't want to get rid of him.
No, why would you? I mean, who are you going to get to better? And don't give me Mike Vrabel. Anybody names me Mike Vrabel, you stop it. Well, he's really tough. Okay, yeah, and his attitude wears on people. Well, you like it or not. He doesn't like to recruit, guys. I don't, and recruiting's harder than ever. So
it's not getting any easier.
You think he can't get a college job right now? He's an assistant or something with the Browns. I mean, come on, it's like we'll see where he ends up next year, but I don't think he wants to be and they say, well, Luke Fickell. I would rather Luke Fickell over Vrabel, but what has Luke done to make me think he needs to be the guy?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe if Wisconsin, if they were world beaters at this point, like, I don't know. I'm not seeing that either.
I mean, maybe he developed them into something decent. He's kind of revamping how they do things there. I get it, but they may not give him enough time if he keeps losing games he shouldn't lose. Okay, well, that's my point, though, is there not really any better options than Ryan Day. He hasn't won it yet. We're spoiled by Urban a little bit. Okay, fine. I still say if he has
history there, too.
Very much so. As much as I love Urban, I think his resume is better than Ryan Day's to date. You see, I got into this, the OHIO guys, I love them, but I got into this debate with Chris, who said that if Larry Johnson's a problem, then Ryan Day doesn't have the guts to fire him. I say, of course he does. I mean, he fired one of his best friends in Al Washington. He'll fire people. He's overhauled his defensive staff twice. He'll fire people. He didn't fire Tony Alford, but he kind of let him know we're not keeping you around. Which is why Tony jumped ship. But that being said, Urban Meyer held on to Billy Davis. He hired Greg Schiano. I know y'all loved him. It isn't like Urban Meyer was, always brilliant with his hires. I mean, Ed Werner, my goodness. And do I even have to go into that? Hung on to him for 2 years. I mean, it's just like, I know y'all loved Tim Beck. That was your favorite hire. I know that. There are questionable hires he made.
Yes, he doesn't have the perfect track record. It's one of those things, though, that's easy to forget about when, you're going through something like this and you look back and you say, oh, those were the good old days.
Yeah, the revisionist history is just all over the place with Urban Meyer. So
it's thick. It's that, and I think it's a lot of the grass is greener on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I don't, the grass could be greener, but I don't know what it is right now. I can't think of anybody, like when I go get Lincoln Riley, they're having a great time at USC.
Please no.
Look at Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams in the NFL.
Oh, it's bad.
Caleb Williams looks almost like an all-star quarterback in his rookie year with the Bears, and Lincoln went 7-5 with him. I'm just saying. While Ryan is not
I don't want
perfect, it could be a. Well, I'll tell you, I know we're going way over on this, but I just had to reiterate. It's like, but if Ryan Day does lose to the team up north again this year, and there's no Connor Stallions, there's no Jim Harbaugh, it's in Columbus. You got a better roster. You're better set up to win. Or you lose to Penn State, we lose out on the Big Ten title game. You don't win the Big Ten. You have a terrible showing in the playoff. If we have 2 losses, we'll probably still get in the playoffs, but we won't be a first round bye though. Then I say, okay, maybe it's time to go, because it's just like, we gave you this roster. It's not the best roster he's ever had. I'd put up 2019 against this one, but it's still the best roster he's had since 2019. And it's like, come on, this is inexcusable to not win with this roster. And
yeah, amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah, and for me, it's the TTUN game. If he loses that again, no, then all my support, because I still support him. I think he's a good coach. I want to keep him here, but if he drops that game, my feelings will turn.
That's how it's got to be. That's how it's got to be. Let us know in the comments what you think, where I'm wrong, where I'm an idiot, which is fine. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, because I really think that the over nitpicking of Ryan Day is a little goofy, but that he's not without criticism.
That's the thing. We are allowed to get upset about things as fans. I mean, it comes with being a fan. It comes with the territory, right? Ryan Day knows as a head coach, fans are going to get upset if he loses a game, and that's just part of his job. But at the same time, I think a lot of the narrative is unfair when there's so many things. If they just swing the other way, if maybe Ohio State gets the luck instead of Oregon, and some of those risky calls where it really could have swung hugely the other way, then we're talking an entirely different narrative after this game. And it's little things like that I think, Ryan Day still got my support because of that. They still have the rest of the season to prove themselves too. The coaching staff, the players, there's a lot of games ahead of us. It's going to be tough for sure. That margin of error is very small, but overall it's just, I don't know, it's kind of crazy how that narrative can get written by such things that just bounce a certain way in a game.
You want to talk about razor thin margin? We lost to Virginia Tech's second game of the year in 2014. We could not slip up the rest of the year. It was there was no chance. We don't go to the playoff at all if we slip up again. And there's a few games that look kind of close. So just saying, we know it. Just because there is a razor thin margin doesn't mean they can't walk that fine line and win those games. These are all games that are very winnable going forward.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
Where can I find you, Lisa?
I run a show called Buckeye Football Fangirl, so you can find me on YouTube. And I also post on Twitter, not as much as Cory for sure, but I try to get on there a couple times a week. I'll post up, and I love hearing everybody's thoughts. So find me on there, drop me a comment. I love talking Buckeye football in there. That's just, it's the reason why I started my own channel, just so I had an outlet for my fandom and so I could connect with so many other great Buckeye fans that are out there.
Yep, and just she happened to find one, so
I did.
So you can find me on Twitter at Scarlet Great CT, and part of the OHIO Scarlet and Game Network. Now I'm not even quite sure how it all works. I'm so brand new to it, but I just had to get this off my chest, and I appreciate Lisa indulging me, basically being a guest here just to let me vent and gripe and whine and go cry in the fetal position in my own way.
I'm happy to talk Buckeye football any day of the week.
That's true. She is. This is a fact. Guys, appreciate you tuning in. Again, leave us a comment what you think about what was all said on this show. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I know it's a little open-ended, but I'm sure you have your own thoughts. I'm sure this is a little thought-provoking. That's what the whole point of it is. And anyway, guys, I hope you, again, as I always say, please still enjoy the games when you lose, because they go by so freaking fast. and we're already
Yeah.
halfway through the season.
Yes. Yes.
So anyway, guys, take care. Have a great day. Goodbye. God bless. And of course, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.